Welcome back to Talk of the Town. As promised, we're going to check in with our news partner from the Madison Community Montessori School. And joining us is Vicki McCarthy. Welcome back.
Hi, thanks, Jessa.
Glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So this is a fascinating topic and good timing for me also as we're coming up here. But last time you were here, we talked about raising independent, self-motivated thinkers.
Right.
So there was a couple things that we looked at, responses to children as a way to foster these skills, our actual responses and what they're doing. And we're going to kind of stick with this theme. So tell me a little bit about the theme of independence. What do we do to foster independence in children?
Right. Well, the last time I was here, we did talk about really being very careful about our responses to children. And so, just want to remind the viewers to be being very careful about not using the expression good job in response to a child's accomplishments. Today, though, we're going to focus a little bit more on building independence by encouraging children to help out around the home. And the research actually shows that children who participate in household tasks at a very young age, there are actually positive impacts on them later in life. There's a fellow by the name of Marty Rossman who's done some research on this. And he found that the best predictor of success for young adults in their 20s is actually whether or not they were participating in chores, helping out with chores at the age of 3 or 4.
Outstanding. Wow. Okay, so that actually is a huge indicator in their independence and responsibility. And what's the connection there?
Right. Well, in a Montessori classroom, we actually talk a lot about building practical life skills. So basically the skills that we all use on a regular basis, throwing trash away, putting our own things away, doing dishes, making our beds, those sorts of things. And as many of those things that we can actually do in the classroom, we're encouraging children to do those at a very young age. Because, not only are those skills important, they're obviously going to need those skills later in life, but the connection really that the research has made is when children are participating in that way, whether it's in a classroom or in a home environment. So in a home environment, let's say when the children are participating in chores on a regular basis from a young age, they really start to feel a sense of being an active, connected, contributing family member. And when you have those feelings as a child, what the research shows is that then later in life when you're faced with decisions and you're trying to make those choices as you kind of travel down your path as a teenager especially, when you have that connection and that feeling of being a contributing family member, then you really make choices that are more in alignment with your family values. And that's where the connection comes in.
Very interesting. So you mentioned a few kinds of chores. What are some examples, or expand a little bit if you would, for young children that they should be doing in the home?
Right. The youngest child, so even a 2- and 3-year-old, can be really doing some household tasks. And we tend to think that they aren't able to do things like that, but they really can, and we see it all of the time in our Montessori environments. So we have a toddler classroom where children are stacking books and putting their toys or their work away. They're taking dirty laundry to the hamper. They're folding towels and washcloths. The 2- and 3-year-old can wipe up spills. They can help set the table. It's really amazing what children are able to do, and they're excited to do it. They want to do what the adults are doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, that feeling of independence is grasped for at an early age.
Right.
So very interesting. And what about when they move to being 4 or 5, a little bit older?
Sure. Well, as they get older, you're going to continue with the tasks that they were able to do as they were 2 and 3, but you're going to start building on them incrementally as they start to grow and develop. So the 4- and 5-year-old can certainly help water plants around the house. They can make their bed, they can straighten up their bedroom, they can feed pets. Again, just adding incrementally as they continue to grow.
Outstanding. So as we're getting into sort of elementary age students, for parents at home who are wondering then, I'm sure that they get more complex. So how involved do they get at that age?
Right. Well, not only do the chores get more complex, but the whole sort of situation gets a little bit more challenging because the younger child is actually quite interested and engaged and joyful about helping out with chores. And as the child starts to transition into elementary, some of that joy sometimes goes away. But the early elementary child can certainly be dust mopping floors. They can empty dishwashers and help with meals. The middle elementary child can do a little bit more by starting to wash their own laundry. They can dust furniture, put groceries away, walk the dog. And then the older elementary child can really be doing all of the regular chores around the home. So they can certainly be cleaning bathrooms and vacuuming and even mowing the lawn.
Outstanding. So things get a little bit more incrementally challenging as they get older, and
Right.
probably more challenging to get them to do them as well.
That's true. It's true. Sometimes it isn't easy getting children to do their chores, and you have to figure out, first of all, you have to choose your battles. That's a sort of a parenting 101 rule for everybody. But the other piece is that we often find in a Montessori environment that if we offer choice, sometimes that helps decrease the situation if the child is being resistant. So if you say, would you like to do this or would you like to do that, offering that element of choice is really an important piece. And then, it's not like we're sitting around doing nothing as parents while the children are busy doing their chores. So it's really something that we're all doing together. We're all contributing and helping out in the same way.
Absolutely.
And we just have to remember that it's a really important skill for them. I mean, we're not only teaching them the skills that they're going to need when they leave our family and home environments. Of course, we all hope that our children are changing their sheets and vacuuming and cleaning the house when they leave our environments. But we're also really, back to the research piece, we're helping them feel connected to the family and hoping that that connection then allows them to make choices that are in alignment with our family values.
Outstanding information and advice, Vicki. Thank you so much for
You're
sharing.
welcome.
Great tips for folks at home with children real young, all the way
Right.
up through elementary and older. And this is Vicki McCarthy, our news partner from Madison Community Montessori School. We'll have you back, as you know. Thanks to all of our guests for joining us, and thank you for watching Talk of the Town. I'm Jessa Jeremiah. Please join us next time.